Hello and welcome to the Sports Doin with me, Kushagr, and we have an interesting lineup for the preview of the game week 11 in the Premier League here. Sulaksh, Anuraag, Vijay, and Susheel joining me here today. We've got a bunch of really good matches to look forward to, guys. I'll just read out a few fixtures that stand out to me instantly. Chelsea versus Leeds, I'm sure Vijay is a match you are looking forward to. Given the clash of styles with Bielsa and Lampard, you can expect a high scoring match there. Spurs versus Arsenal, of course, it is the biggest match of the weekend. So, given the form that you guys are in and the form the Spurs have been in, I'm sure you're pretty nervous going into that match. Liverpool entertain Wolves at home again a team which is going to be very tricky for you guys. Shield.
Yeah.
So we can probably talk about all three matches a little while later. Breaking news as of now in the Premier League is that around 5 to 6 of Newcastle's United's first team players have tested positive for COVID, and because of that, their entire team squad that is that, and also the assistants and the management squad of the club have gone into quarantine. Their match against Aston Villa has been called off, which was for Friday night, if I'm not wrong. And any further information around this, we will let you guys know. I'm sure, as Vijay and Anurag and Susheel were discussing earlier, there are going to be connotations for the teams that Newcastle did play last week or the week before that, because it's a 2 week quarantine period that we're talking about. So we do not exactly know what the rest of the Premier League is doing, but as of now, Newcastle won't be playing any matches for now. And any further developments, do keep it locked to the Sports Line, and we'll keep you abreast there. Vijay, I'll start with you. The very first couple of matches that we're looking at are the Saturday fixtures. That's City versus Fulham and West Ham versus United. So, talking about City versus Fulham, again, this looks like a gimme encounter to me, wherein another team which would look at defending a little bit more will come to the Etihad and get pasted 5 or 6 nil again.
I hope so because I have been backing City for quite some time on this podcast, and it's not worked out for me. So I'm going Fulham on this so that Guardiola can get back a bit of his reputation, right? God, yeah. I mean, but going by
Fulham
anything,
did win this weekend. They beat Leicester away.
yeah.
Not bad.
I think
A
You
bit
know,
of
by associative property, shouldn't they beat City?
I think if by associative property, then a lot of Premier League managers aren't going to be their managers at this point. Yeah. So anyway, for me, yeah, this is definitely like a buy for City, like get that confidence up kind of a game. But a side note is I'm really looking forward to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek play. He's been somebody that's who was in the Chelsea squad last season quite prominently, and now he's gone on loan in the last minute, and he's not had the best of starts except until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So he's been in form. He I think scored a goal, and it was for a victory. So I was very happy. But I don't see that happening against City. But if Fulham are going to pose a challenge, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek doing his job as a holding midfielder, or sorry, an attack-minded midfielder, is going to be a difference maker. But you have to look at Guardiola, and you know, I think I brought it up in FPL that there was one guy in their entire FPL group had two City midfielders, and I was like, this guy has some divinity bullshit going on, man. Like, how the hell? How did you know Mahrez was required in your squad that day?
oh,
Like,
yes,
what
Mahrez.
gave you
Wow.
that? Like, even Guardiola's like, man, damn. But
I was just
Next
kidding.
level player.
yeah, but I'm just saying. So I hope for that guys and Guardiola's sake that City do put in a classic City performance that we've come to expect of them.
Yeah, and you would expect City to win there, wouldn't you, Anurag? Because
Yeah.
That's what essentially Manchester City do. You can sort of bank on them when it comes to fixtures like these. Whereas their neighbours, right there in Manchester, can't really say the same thing about them. They face a tricky fixture. They face a West Ham United who are placed above them in the league, who got a good win as well over the
4 wins
weekend.
in a row.
Yeah, 4 wins in a row. They're playing just like United. They're 4 wins in a row. Uh, the United are
Yeah.
playing their former manager, who seems to have found a new lease of life. He refuses to die. He's the original zombie here. But David Moyes, props to the guy because he's been playing well. His team's been playing well, and they've been performing very, very well. A tricky fixture for United.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the way West Ham United have been just about getting the results. If you look at yesterday's game, I think Aston Villa had the edge on the game. But again, West Ham did well to get that 3 points. I wouldn't say they were lucky to get that. They defended quite with great spirit, with great discipline. So that's why they got those points, and that's what you expect from West Ham again. Because when teams like that, when they are high on confidence, and when they look at their recent record against Manchester City, Manchester United, at the is it the I don't know what's the name of the
The
stadium, but
Olympic Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, London Stadium,
yeah,
Olympic
it's the
Stadium.
Olympic
You could
Stadium.
call it anything.
Whatever.
Yeah, West
So
Ham's
yeah,
home.
the United's away trips to London have not been that memorable, especially against West Ham in recent
Yeah.
times. And if you put all of this into perspective, West Ham have a lot of confidence to take into this game. So again, United have there were a couple of games in this season where United traveled to Southampton, where they traveled to Everton. They were not really confident of getting a result, but they did eventually just about got it. So just about in the confidence that they are in, I expect United to get a win, but let's see what happens.
Yeah,
It's very
right.
much open.
It's open for debate. That's Manchester United's season, and let's hope they're able
That's what she
to.
said. It's open.
It's open for debate. Let's hope Ole's team can march on to another victory in the Premier League there, because if United and City do get victories there, Susheel, it will make it very interesting. Considering you guys play Wolves,
Yeah.
and Wolves are coming straight off a victory against Arsenal, and they'll surely be buzzing from that. And they were very good. I know Raul Jimenez will be a massive loss considering your centre backs and their vulnerability with respect to because they will have. Oh, come on!
Sorry,
This is
man.
this
It
was
was doing
not.
something weird on my ears. Anyway, go on. This is like Sorry. Liverpool without Van Dijk. Like suddenly, oh shit, what the fuck just happened?
Uh,
Oh god. Okay, yeah, sorry, finish the question.
I'm struggling to remember the question. But yeah, talking about Liverpool versus Wolves, I'm sure Raul Jimenez will be a massive loss for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but beyond that, they've got some really fine players. Similar to what you guys have. They've got these tricky, not very tall, but tricky, fast players in their squad with the likes of
Portuguese
Jimenez.
fingers.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, they got the entire Portuguese nation playing for them. They got
yeah.
like 11, 12 Portuguese players. They sold a Portuguese player to you guys, so and they had to replace him with like five more Portuguese players. So it's been a topsy turvy season for Bulls as well.
Yeah.
They haven't been so great because up until the last game week they had the exact same record as Arsenal. So and we've been not we've really been waxing lyrical about Arsenal. So I think you guys are favorite heading to this match. But any doubts, any questions?
It's Liverpool are going to play Ajax tonight, and it'll be. I think the key question heading into the Wolves game is: are Liverpool through to the round of 16 at that point or not?
You guys need a win,
I,
right?
yeah, no, I think even a single point should do. I'll have to check, but I think obviously
To
a win
top
would
to
seal
top the
it.
group, you need a win.
Yeah, and that's what Klopp would like. Would be my guess.
For sure.
Um, and assuming that that's sealed, right? It gives Klopp a lot more flexibility when it comes to picking his squad that for the weekend. And I think that's precisely what he's been looking for a while now. Injuries, COVID-19, the fixture congestion, none of these have helped. I don't think Klopp has been able to play, apart from those 45 minutes against Chelsea, he's not really been able to play his preferred 11 this season. And I don't think, given Van Dijk's out all season, he won't be able to play it for the rest of the season as well. But as close to that as he can get is what he'd prefer. And whether or not he's able to field a squad that
is closer to what he'd like to see will depend on tonight, I think. So I won't. Obviously, Klopp is going to go out to win the game against Wolves. It's at Anfield, and they are, I think, 64 or 65 games unbeaten there.
Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
that's definitely a record that you'd want to
yeah,
keep.
and I don't want to jinx it because that's what happened when I spoke about Brighton last time. But I think given how good they've been, there have been players who have been at Liverpool for such a long time who have never lost a game at Anfield. I mean,
Yeah,
you'll be
Sadio
like
Mane keeps being
Mo Salah has
mentioned,
never
right?
lost a game. Sadio Mane has never lost a game. Robertson, Trent. So the key thing is, I think home games are um, always Liverpool go in with an advantage. The only thing is whether they can convert that advantage into a win, or whether they'll end up with a draw, which is disappointing, or maybe Wolves can pull a surprise. Yeah, but I'll reserve my judgment on how this is going to turn out, depending on what happens today. I think if Liverpool don't seal the deal in the Champions League tonight, Klopp may have to ration minutes across the Wolves game and the Champions League game the week after. So we'll see. A lot of it depends on tonight.
Yeah, a lot of it would depend on the Champions League qualification,
Hmm.
as it does for a couple of other clubs. I was listening to Ole Solskjaer's press conference, and it's a similar question was asked to him that would it be better to go for a win against PSG, Anurag, rather than
Yeah.
looking for a point? Because if you go for a win against PSG, the match that United play on Wednesday night, if you go for a win there, you end up qualifying at the top of the group, and then you can maybe rest players for the Manchester Derby the weekend after this. So I'm sure all of these considerations of playing a big massive part amongst the managers. Talking about difficult fixtures at home. Vijay, you guys entertain an informed Leeds side, and Marcelo Bielsa has been, people have been raving and ranting about Marcelo Bielsa. Again, they went away to Everton, a clash of two, I guess, two of the most experienced managers in the league, and they ended up getting all 3 points, and they were really impressive, well worth their victory. Do you expect a very good challenge from the lead squad, because they only play the one way, and it's really impressive to watch.
I am extremely excited for this game. Bielsa is my go-to coach as well. Like outside of Chelsea, they're the other team that I'm rooting for in the league, and it's purely not based on history, not anything. It's not even based on Bielsa. It's just that such a team is possible, right? It's beautiful to see,
Yeah.
and given that they only play one way, that it's attacking, that it's Bielsa, and he has history with Frank Lampard from their derby days. Um, I don't know. I think is Frank. It showed a lot of guts for Frank Lampard to go against Mourinho with his 4-3-3, where
Yeah.
usually he plays big games when he's not sure with the three at the five at the back.
So
So
3-4-3 or a 5-3-2 sort of a thing, right?
yeah, essentially giving defensive cover when you have two amazing right backs and Reece James and Aspie and Chilwell and another centre back. But I think this could be a game where he could refute to that. Maybe our midfield could get overrun, but I'm telling you, the difference this season for me not to have that qualm, or what makes the 4-3-3 work, is the form of N'Golo Kante.
N'Golo Conte. We talk
Yeah,
about him each week.
I know, and I can't stop it because he made Harry Kane disappear in the second half of the last game that we had,
Yeah,
and
man. Yeah, man. Like N'Golo Kante was like, it was a breath of fresh air. It felt like almost been a year or so since I saw such a dominating performance for him, and it's just lovely to watch that man play well, because you're always happy when he's playing well. It's just such a nice look.
so it's going to be very interesting to see because how Lampard's going to approach this. Because if it like I think everybody on the top of their minds thinks that this is going to be high scoring, Leeds versus Chelsea in the same way that Lampard's old teams play, like outscore the other ones. What do we know about defending? But like I said last week, it's been the maturity of a team and a manager, and this is another test that I think Chelsea could go defensive on. To be honest,
All right. So you think draw is a big possibility there,
Oh,
Vijay.
sorry. Yeah,
Vijay,
I
Vijay
think it was for
and
Vijay. Yeah. No, no,
It's
Vijay,
still
go
for.
first.
I think that that sort of goes for the both of you, Vijay
Vijay,
and
you go
Susheel.
first.
I don't think of it as a draw because I'm sorry, I'm going with FPL.
I'm asking you. Do you think there is a bigger possibility of getting a draw as a result outcome of the match?
Yeah, and I don't because it's just um it doesn't seem like Bielsa will try for that draw. He's like the opposite of what Mourinho is going to come and try to do in your team. He's going to try and attack the goal and win it, and then
Life out of
keep,
people. Yeah.
yeah, just uh, like for 90 minutes he wants electricity from his team, and that's essentially what that is going to be.
All
Is
right.
Frank Lampard trying to contain it, or is he trying to go against that same current with his own? So that will be an interesting thing because the thing about Leeds is I don't see another team with the same profile of Leeds, right? In the way that they
Yeah.
play with that kind
Yeah.
of a squad. Yeah, definitely other attacking teams are there, but that kind of profile of a squad, the way I don't know, it's super interesting for me, and I'm sorry, but I'd love to see a Chelsea victory, maybe a 2-0, but that's something you expect against Newcastle, not Leeds.
All right.
It's the most watchable game of the week, I must say.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Still, any doubts over the result?
No, no doubts about the result, but I wanted to add that I think a lot of people aren't aware because this is way back in the day. But Leeds and Chelsea actually is one of the greatest English football rivalries of all time. In the 60s and 70s, that was the
Don Reeves'
rivalry,
side,
Don
yeah.
Revie side versus, yeah. And I think it culminated in the 1970s FA Cup final, I
Yeah, I think
think
it was an FA Cup final 71,
the most
75.
physical game in English
Yeah,
history.
yeah. So there have been
And
books written about it. I think
yeah,
after that, I think Don Revie got the English job and Brian Clough went to Leeds. I think
exactly.
that's what
Yeah.
the case was.
And so, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
carry
just
on.
for about this game itself, it'll be good to see, Leeds and Chelsea up against each other again after so long, because I think that's a huge rivalry that the Premier League's been missing all these years.
Yeah, I think we can talk more about the Leeds rivalries because there's no bigger rivalry for Leeds than with Manchester United that they have. So I think whenever we have that fixture in the
It's
Premier
in
League,
December.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's going to be some massive one to talk about. We've
Yeah.
saved the best fixture for the last, and there's a reason for it because I would leave Tottenham to the panelists here. I'd straight away head into Arsenal there. Sulaksh, you guys, of course, we've covered the Arsenal performance in the review, and we've covered a lot of pressing issues. So we'll not repeat ourselves there. But I'd like for you to put yourself into perhaps try to put yourself into Arteta's shoes. How do you approach this game? I mean, what is the primary objective that you want your team to achieve? And if you are going for the win, what is the squad of players you're going to go with it for?
I sorry. I think the primary objective that we have for this game is to not get thrashed. Because if and when I say thrashed, I don't like mean necessarily numerically, but in the flow of the game, not get
Yeah,
outplayed, not have the sniff of a ball like we did against Aston Villa, because that will be something that could cause Arteta a lot of problems going down in the future.
but people
Uh,
remember this, right? People remember the performance against Spurs.
Exactly. I mean, the 6 months down the line, when you're talking about whether Arteta needs to stay or needs to go, this would be the first match that would come up. We got humiliated in the North London derby if that happens. So Arteta probably will have to. If I put myself in his shoes, I think I would take it more in the direction of the game against Manchester United rather
Yeah,
than in the direction as he has gone in the last two games. Although I am being a little hypocritical because I was sitting here 3 weeks ago calling out for us to play four at the back, but I don't think it will work out without Thomas Partey. And my decision was mostly based on seeing Partey in that United match and the game next game against Leicester, where he was good in the first half, and when he went out of the game, that's when he did. So I think we need to be defensive. As for the squad, I really don't know what to say because you think you can back a player like even of the quality of Aubameyang, but when the squad is down in the dumps, it can, football is a game that can make even the best players look like fools sometimes, and that that's basically what it's looking like because there is not a lack of talent, but there is definitely a lack of confidence in leadership, and whether it has to do with the players not being happy with the club or not just being good enough, but it is a problem that Arteta will need to look out. And I think the key battle, which will be between if Ndombele plays and if he can just roam freely around Ceballos and Xhaka like he was doing in the first half against Chelsea, then I think
Yeah,
the problem.
I felt Ndombele was
We
very good.
don't got no Kante and sorry, but
Yeah,
Partey is not. I don't think he'll be back. So that's another
yeah, I
interesting
think
thing to see. Because I think if Partey does come back, then that actually gives Arteta that little bit of a lalach, I should play four at the back and Partey can do it. But if he's not there, then definitely I think we need to revert to the five at the back and three while attacking system.
yeah, it seems unlikely from the initial reports that Partey will be back. At least for this week, maybe in the next week as well. He's out.
Maybe
We're not
he'll be
in.
on the bench, but I don't think he'll start.
Yeah, I think it'll be too early for him. I think, and it'll be counterproductive for his season as well if you guys lose him for a longer time. So, when you talk about Arsenal, Anurag and Susheel and Vijay, of course, I'll bring in the three of you because we can have an assessment of Spurs
So
and their chances.
I'll just let this in run,
Yeah.
and then
The
yeah,
board
All
members
right.
of Arsenal, please note.
please note.
Yeah. Please, you keep a
That's
timestamp
spoken.
for that on the video.
Yeah,
So yeah, coming back to the three of you guys, we've seen Spurs play a certain way against the opposition when it comes to opposition that they've thought that would be slightly difficult or slightly tougher to gauge. Apart from that anomaly of a game against Manchester United, wherein sort of United almost shot themselves in the foot with the way they played. But we saw it against City. They were very comfortable in their 2-0 victory. They're more than happy just letting you have the ball. Do
Yeah.
you see do you see any change whatsoever from a Mourinho side? Because I'm very interested, guys. If Arteta decides, fine, I'm also playing five at the back, and Mourinho decides that I'll play the low block that I always play. It's a low block versus a low block.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
Neither of them
happens?
want the ball right now. So
Yeah,
that is a yeah, yeah. That's an interesting scenario, right? I mean, that was pretty much what people were expecting with United Spurs as well. United had a little more intent, at least in keeping the ball, more or less, definitely more than Arsenal do right now. But that is not the case with these both teams. So it could end up being a little boring. But just in case Arsenal can get that early goal, I must say, out of the blue, it has to be out of the blue because just going by the momentum that we are talking about right now. So if they can get that, I think that then it'll be a very spicy fixture. But once Spurs get that first goal, then the likes of Højbjerg and Sissoko, they'll
yeah.
just
They'll
sit
just shut
back.
up
They'll
shop. Yeah, they'll shut up shop.
absolutely, yeah, that shop is shut, and there's nothing gonna happen there. You
That's
know that.
that's
So
pretty
I
much
think
what's
if
going
that
on.
first goal goes to Spurs, I think we can switch off the television. It'll be at best one more goal. um, yeah, not a lot of things are going to happen once Spurs get that goal.
Vijay, do you see? I just feel like in a match in which Spurs traditionally they've been so far the overwhelming favorites. They do what Spurs do. They bottle it, and I can just see that happening over this weekend. I know Arsenal have been dog shit over the past 3 weeks, but Spurs are the team that ends up slipping on that dog shit. So, so do you think? Do you think? I know Mourinho's come. He's gotten some cojones back in the team, but it's Spurs.
Yeah. And it's kind of like when
I just
uh,
feel too many things are aligning for them them, man. I don't think that actually happens in the world of Spurs.
no, I think, it's one of those situations where a shitty club found a shitty manager, and then they both together have become something better than both can be. Think of
So
it
the
that
sum of the
way.
parts is actually greater.
Yeah, yeah, and it's working for Spurs. And I think I told this a couple of podcasts back. This is the season where Mourinho I don't care how many times he will say, "I'm a little pony, I am a war horse,
Yeah.
or I'm whatever." Like, okay, we know it, dude. You've been doing it since 2004. Chill.
Yeah.
I mean, either the press
Chill.
are really
Yeah.
retarded, or it's just come on. So, but this is, and I don't. I think the 1-0 and then shutting shop. It's not going to be. It's not going to be how it is for me. I think Mourinho smells blood. I think Mourinho has the attacking team, the informed team, the league leaders right now, and Arsenal have the opposite of all of that. And I think it's going to be a Harry Kane show. I sense
Oh,
it.
Hurricane. Yeah, he loves a goal against Arsenal, right? The team he
Yeah,
Yeah.
supported as a boy.
He
and
scored some
this could be that
fabulous
step up.
goals.
Like, I know the expectations you said are quite warranted in Spurs being Spurs, but this is the opportunity, like on a platter, to like elevate yourselves above that expectation. And then I can't wait, even after, if they do that, Mourinho coming and saying that, "Oh, no, 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 we are just waiting for Guardiola to come and then show that he's better than me." But yeah, that's the whole thing. They do the plus and then they say it's a minus, but that's classic Mourinho. So
Yeah.
good luck to him.
Susheel.
Yeah, I think just I'm wondering if I should go on a rant or not, but I think we have some time, so I will. Um, I think there's a lot of disrespect that goes Tottenham's way. Um,
Wow.
much of it undeserved for a team that's consistently finished in the Champions League and reached Champions League final. I think people tend to, with a lot of that same squad still intact, people tend to assume that they're a bunch of players who are not that good, and that's absolutely not true. And a lot of game weeks we go in thinking, oh, Spurs are not going to do that well, or they'll just eke out a win, and they dominate that game, right? And so I don't see any reason why that's not going to happen again this week. When it comes to possession, Tottenham are the seventh best in the league, despite having played, a lot of the larger teams. Um, and generally, I don't think Mourinho's style is to retain the ball, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't encourage his teams to attack. It's just that he's more on, he's a
Yeah,
little
he's
more
defense first.
conservative.
He's defense
Yeah,
first.
exactly. And that's not a bad way to play necessarily. It's just that that's how he's more confident winning games. In terms of the game itself, I think Sulaksh, covered all of the points that I wanted to mention. Um, the one advantage Tottenham are going to have here is A, it's a game at home, whatever that means these days,
Yeah.
and B, they're probably going to be in much better shape because I think they've already qualified from the Europa League group, right?
Both the
And
teams have. Both the
both the
teams
teams
have.
have. Okay, so then it's all square. But yeah, I'm sort of hoping that this game turns out to be exciting. And I think Arsenal really owe their fans and the manager particularly a good performance. And the North London derby is probably the best place to have that. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Sulaksh, we'll wrap it up with you. Your predictions for the match?
Um, this is one of those times where I really feel like I'll end up not backing my team, but I can't do it on live video. So I'll
Hmm.
go for
You just call your team dog shit, dude.
they are dog shit, but they're
I
my
didn't
team.
call. I didn't call you his team dog shit. I
No,
called.
I
called.
call
Their style, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my bad, my bad. There's the style called dog shit. I wasn't aware of
See,
it. Sorry.
even if
Oh,
they're
guys.
dog shit, they're my dog shit. You have to give me
You take ownership of the dog.
yeah. You can't just leave it out on the park. Not that kind of a thing. So I think I'll go for a 1-0 win. Very, very optimistic and not conceding a goal. That would, I mean, I would take a nil all too, but I would go for a 1-0.
Yeah, just so I keep telling you guys once again, Spurs haven't quite qualified. Arsenal have. Spurs have from the
Oh,
Europa League
okay.
group. That's what I was checking.
Spurs lost that one game.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
Mourinho came out with that interesting
Yeah.
Insta post and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Anyway, so I guess the three of you are going in more for the Spurs win, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Vijay,
3-1
Anuraag, and
Spurs.
Susheel and Vijay, both
1-0.
2-0, 1-0. I think so many things are lining up. It'll just
It's 3-1.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys in next week. review.
Bring your doggy bag.
That'll be for you.
You'll bring your doggy back.
I'll bring my
Yes.
dog.
Thank you so much, boys, for joining me here. We can only hope for a COVID-free weekend. We hope that the Premier League matches aren't further affected like the Newcastle Aston Villa game has been,
Yeah.
and that the matches end up being very high-scoring matches, loads of FPL points for all of us. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do let us know what your predictions are in the comments below. Do share the video around. Ask your friends to watch, man. Come on, we need the views. Keep it locked to the Sports Join for more Premier League news. As Sulaksh says, for you Arsenal fans, do you back at it and want Kroenke out? Do let us know.